Okay, this is episodes 4 and 5 of She-Hulk. Again, these are going to be kind of spoiler-heavy reviews. I'm going to do episode 4 and then episode 5, and I'll sum up my thoughts on each episode after them. But it's kind of weird because in this case, I think these two episodes kind of dovetail right into each other. I mean, the first three you could argue is its own arc unto itself, but this is almost like a second story arc right here, at least a mini story arc. To an extent, I don't know how the finale is going to necessarily play into it, but anyway, episode 4 is titled. Let me just is this not real magic? And there's this. It deals with Wong having to deal with a rejected student from the Carmitage by the name of Donnie Blaze, who is now fashioning himself a Chris Angel-like Vegas magician who is, playing these acts. He's using the little, I don't know what they're called, the little ring that generates the portal openings to send people to other places, including sending a woman, a sort of party girl-esque character named Madisynn with a Y, to a hell dimension where she has to barter her way out. She winds up back at the Carmitage with Wong, where she spoils the ending of a Sopranos episode that he had yet to watch. The Madisynn character has since just taken off in a weird way, and the idea is she and Wong kind of almost form something of a relationship. I don't know if it's necessarily romantic in any way, but she definitely likes being around Wong for some reason. And after that, Wong gets in contact with She-Hulk or Jennifer, and he says, "Hey, I want to send a cease and desist because this guy is hurting people. He's toying around with things he really shouldn't be toying around with, and really bad things could wind up happening." And so she takes the case, and then sort of the subplot in this is Jen trying to activate her love life, basically, and she creates a dating profile, and she uses her work ID badge, which is not the best idea. It is weird because you're saying Tatiana Maslany is not attractive, but the idea is, it's not her in her most attractive light, and so eventually, out of desperation, she makes a profile as She-Hulk, and she starts getting hits on on her dating profile, and she winds up going out with several individuals, one of whom is David Otunga, former WWE competitor and announcer. Then they're all kind of creepy, and they're either self-absorbed or they're just weird fetishists, or no, I'm not king shaming, but they're just kind of presented as either being creepy or just jerks. And then she finally manages to hit it off with one when Wong returns and says, "Hey, I need you because shock of shocks, Donnie Blaze is mucking things up again, and he's unleashed a whole bunch of hell demons into this dimension, and we have to try to work together to send them back." And they do, and Donnie Blaze agrees to stop doing those types of tricks. And she goes home. She hooks up with the guy, who then and Jen hooks up with the guy she was with, and he then immediately ghosts her when she reverts back to human form because, it seems that he was only interested in She-Hulk. Has trademarked She-Hulk, and Titania, who's also just been released from prison, has trademarked She-Hulk, and now Jen can't call herself that. And that's pretty much how the episode ends, although there's a mid-credits scene with Madisynn and Wong. And that's, like I said, overall, this episode was fun. It's definitely way more light. I didn't even say way more lighter than earlier, as they're playing way more into kind of the quirky romantic comedy ideas. Like I said, the character of Madisynn has just taken off. The internet loves her. I'm not sure. I've always been very mixed on the celebutante party girl, Paris Hilton / Kardashian type, but okay, admitted she had some funny points I thought that were enjoyable. Overall, like I said, it's a good episode. It's not really much in the way of world building in the strictest sense of the form. It is nice that they are starting to harken a little bit more to the comics, where Jen, is very open. Especially when she's She-Hulk, she is very open with her sexuality. She is, yeah. I always thought of it as kind of, Bruce, is the 98-pound weakling who turns into, the muscle-bound, Hulk. While, Jen, it's the idea of maybe she's the shy, mousy girl who, when she turns into the Hulk, becomes a vivacious flirt because that rearranges her personality and allows those aspects to be at the forefront. And I think this kind of helped a little bit with that. And although in this case, the idea is she starts, and like I said, she gets the dating profile, and then she switches because she says, "I'm desperate. I have to at least try to see if that gets anything." And well, it sort of pays out. But still, I do think it was interesting. The episode gets an A. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's quite enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. Don't know what exactly this means down the line, but we'll get to that in the next part. But still, like I said, it's very fun. It's like we're starting a whole new story arc with this, I think. Like I said, we had episodes 1, 2, 3 that was kind of the Abomination thing, and as well as the origin of She-Hulk, and now it's like we're picking up a new arc. And I think, unfortunately, this is probably where the 6-episode format, again, kind of hinders this because, after this, after the next episode, obviously, is the 6th episode, which is the finale. But, other than that, like I said, it's still really fun.
Look up there! It's the Hulk! Helps you from Kid Power! Racetrack! Racetrack! Kid Power! Playmaker! Playmaker! Kid Power! There's more at the store that has Kid Power!
What does Hulk say when he's saving the day? Hulk smash! And what does Hulk do when he's gotta break through? Hulk smash! Make your own ride, race for the other side. Go fast in a flash, or the Hulk's gonna smash! What is the name of the Hulk smashing game? Hulk smash! Hulk smash! Hulk smash!
Hulk is hero. Some assembly required. For more Incredible Hulk action, you can try your hand at Operation Hulk and Don't Wake Hulk. Each sold separately, batteries not included.
Okay, episode 5 of She-Hulk is mean green and straight poured into these jeans. It's a bit of a mouthful. Again, we're dealing, basically, this picks up right where the other episode left off. Titania is freed from jail, and she's launching a new She-Hulk themed fashion line because she now has the trademark, and Jen's upset about it, but there's little that can be done because Titania has the trademark. However, the firm is seeing all this stuff added to that. Her cousin Chet is, buying this stuff and trying to get her to autograph it because he thinks this is her personal idea when it isn't. And again, the law firm eventually says, no, I think you need to, we need to pursue this because, you represent, you're our face, and we're seeing this all, we're seeing you being, it's beauty and health line products, basically. There's one joke where one of the items is literal snake oil for skin treatment or something like that. And there was a booty boosting smoothie as well, and it's like, she explains, but there's not really anything I do. She wants the trademark. It's like, well, you have our permission to pursue this legally. You have our backing because, again, you represent this firm, and we can't necessarily be associated. We can't look like the lazy guys here. And she gets partnered with her firm's very domineering female lawyer named Ms. Book. And this kind of dovetails into the subplot of the episode, which is Nikki. I wrote down Ginger because that's the actress's name. I confused it. Nikki, that's Jen's paralegal and friend, who is approached by one of the co-workers. It's the male co-worker, but I can't remember if it's the male co-worker who's like, the sexist misogynist, or if it's the other male co-worker who isn't. I can't think what their names are. admittedly, that's a problem with this. Like I said, I think the main problem with this series is just the underdeveloped supporting cast. Like, I'm not counting Abomination or, the villain or the main characters. Though I hesitate to say the comics because I know the characters I'm talking about are also in the comics. But yeah, the superpowered characters. Let's just say that. Like that, those are fine. It's the other lawyers in Jen's office. They just don't stick with me very well, unfortunately, and that's I think a major problem with this. But one of the male co-workers wants to pick up these new Iron Man shoes, and he's picking up 2 of them, and it's like they're basically like Air Jordans, where they're super expensive and highly in demand. So how is he going to pick this up? How is he going to pick up 2? And it turns out he has an in with the manufacturer, who is known as, phone goes off again, the manufacturer who is known as the Drip Broker. And she says, he makes bootleg superhero merchandise. So they won't exactly be Tony Stark Iron Man shoes, but they'll be darn close. And, Vicky gets the idea, hey, let's see if we can fix some things for Jen, because her big problem is, she has to wear these big, bulky suits to, so when she shifts into the Hulk, she doesn't rip her clothes off and, be naked all the time, basically. And, but then when she shrinks back down, she can't, it doesn't seem to be aesthetically pleasing for her. And, it's like something that would help her, better. Basically, the idea is so she can look more attractive. I don't mean to say. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like I said, if you see, like I said, she has to wear the big bulky suits for when she's She-Hulk, because that way it doesn't tear anything. But then when she returns to Jen, it's like it's just hanging, it's dangling around, so it's not fitting very well, and she doesn't look very professional. So that's the idea, and they go to the Drip Broker's warehouse, which is operating out of a boba store, and he agrees to meet with her, and they see all these bootleg stuff he makes, like bootleg Mjolnir. He has Avengers t-shirts and Avengers t-shirts, and I think there's something like, I think there's Compton America or something like, or Compton America, something to that effect. And eventually, as this is happening, the trial with Titania is playing out, and they have to basically prove that Jen was calling herself She-Hulk before Titania filed the trademark. And, there's the one news report earlier where she said, you guys gave me the name She-Hulk, I didn't really want it, but, right now I'm kind of stuck with it. And, other times where she's like, I don't want to be called She-Hulk, and it's like, well, she doesn't want to be called She-Hulk, why is she now defending it? And so, but basically, she has to use her dating profile, where she had to she had to say she was She-Hulk to start getting dates, and they call up all the guys she dated again, and they're testifying, and the guy she hooked up with basically says, I only wanted to hook up with She-Hulk, I don't care about Jennifer Walters at all. And that eventually kind of wins the case over in her favor. And then she and Ms. Book go out for drinks, and it seemed to bond, but she, maybe she has a little too much because she drinks as Jen, and so she gets a little... The idea is when you're a Hulk, you have much better control over your alcohol, and you don't get hungover. So, she slips up and inadvertently refers to Ms. Book as a friend, even though they really haven't interacted that much until this episode. So, again, that's that whole supporting cast problem. But still, it's very entertaining, and then she meets with the Drip Broker to discuss her new suits that have been made. And he says, I made you this, and I made you this for, if you do find yourself in a more physical activity. So you're going to see her more traditional suit from the comics soon. But as she's trying them on behind a curtain, you see him walk by, and he's very upset because there's a costume that got left out in the open, and it's Daredevil's yellow costume. So, that's how we're finally going to get that Matt Murdock cameo coming up. So, no mid-credit scene in this one. Don't know if that's necessarily a drawback or not, but still, at least I don't know where this finale is going. That's about the only other still, I mean, I like the episode for the most part. Again, better balance with humor in this. Definitely played up more. The only thing I'd say, again, the weakness of the supporting cast is a bit of a hint because, again, I can't remember their names. And, again, I don't know where this Daredevil thing is going at all, but I guess they're going to hit on it eventually. So, yeah, because it's still, overall, I'm going to give this an A. I had fun watching it. It was a good episode to watch. You know, again, just that weak supporting cast is really hurting this show. And I think, again, it's the fact these episodes are only about a half an hour long instead of, even, 40 minutes, I think, would at least allow for a bit more development of that supporting cast, which would help bolster the show a little bit more. But still, again, it's fun. It's highly entertaining. If you haven't watched it yet, I don't think you have to be too well-versed in the Marvel Universe to have watched this. There's some points, but they reference them. It's like, okay, well, all you need to know is this happened at some point, and that's about it. Okay, so the next video is obviously going to be recapping the She-Hulk finale, and then it's the random trade review on Transformers: The World in Your Eyes. And if you didn't watch my last video, I talked about that. The random trade review is getting new opening theme music, new opening and closing theme music because my title track got copyright claimed, even though I've always sourced where it comes from. And I'm tired of just dealing. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, and I've tried to be as polite as I can with these people, but it's just aggravating as all get out. I'm just changing it, and hopefully this gets resolved so I don't have to, have sponsorship on a video that might, won't generate much income because barely anyone's watched that the Hockey Apocalypse episode. But still, like I said, it's rather aggravating. That being said, I am looking forward to the ending of She-Hulk. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember you can request a movie or a television series for me to review at my Patreon at patreon.com/CPTime for Cat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be alerted to further videos.